Well, I better do what the timer says.
What and start.
It doesn't say start, it says go.
Go. Well, I go then. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, well, go. Off we go.
Off we pop.
Maybe I should have start written there instead of go. I didn't think about that one through very well, that one. Okay. Well,
Okay.
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 We've got the usual crowd here. We've only got 9 watching so far, plus us, or including us.
Well, it's better than nothing. Better than nobody at all, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got no idea what trickery Heat Shield was up to earlier there with this numbers. Yeah, thousands of screenshots of me typing numbers into the chat 10 minutes ago, but I can delete them all. Okay. What's that, John? No, don't say that in the chat. Hey, Phil. Geronism. Get me tongue around that name. Hey, mate.
Geronism.
Jared, yeah, that's him.
Is that like a flat Earth aneurysm?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, look, Blue's here to save the day.
Yeah.
Hey.
You saved the day, Blue?
What? Hey, Blue.
Have you had your coffee yet?
Too early for that one.
He's giving us the silent treatment now. You upset him.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Can't be that bad, Blue.
Oh, wait.
What?
Once I turn the microphone, it'll work. Hello. Good day, Mike.
Maybe it is too early then. He's forgot to switch the mic on. Yeah.
That was very profound what you didn't say that we didn't hear.
Yeah. I found it very moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Very cluey too, yeah.
I forget this mic's got a damn button on the front of it.
Oh. Watch out for Mike.
Push that little button and the light starts blinking. It means you're not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh well.
Sorry, Blue, I started to fall asleep. Was it last night or the night before you were doing your Cavendish experiment?
Oh, yeah.
I kept watching the dot
That's
slowly
okay.
going across and my eyes were getting heavier and heavier.
Yeah, that thing will hypnotize you after a while. So how are the Harvard students doing their
We're all set up to have a whole 5,000 of them delivered tomorrow. So, yeah, another 5,000 coming. These ones are about 3, nearly 4 weeks old now. So, another week and a half and we'll grade them.
All right.
I was going to say, if you tried to teach them math, they've got no fingers to count with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but teaching them to count, that'd just be quackers.
There's 3,000 of them in that pen, right, that you see right there. And when we weighed them last, the average weight of them was a bit over 300 grams each, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's about a ton of ducks, okay? And when they're hungry and they stampede towards you, it does sound like a ton of ducks coming towards you. it's literally like a herd of elephants running towards you. But have a guess how much feed, we feed those at this time every day.
A ton?
Any ideas? How many kilos do you think we would feed
Oh,
them?
1,000 kilos.
No, not
Ah.
quite that much. We feed them about 340 grams each, or not 340 grams each, about 340 kilos for the whole lot. So
That's a fair
yeah,
weight in food.
every
Yeah.
day, exactly. So they're eating about a third of their body weight in food every single day while they're growing at this stage, and they grow so quick. At this stage, it's funny because it's like, have you ever heard of that a mythological exercise of cow tipping, where you're supposed to be able to go and tip cows over onto their side while they're sleeping?
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's a myth. It's a myth.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course, you can't actually do that. But these ducks, at this stage, because they're growing so quick and they eat so much, they're top heavy. And as they're running, if they happen to run around a corner, they'll tip over and roll onto their back, and then just spend the next minute or so kicking their legs wildly, trying to right themselves up the right way. And you see them making sawdust angels in the sawdust.
So, how do you distinguish male and females? Do you pick them out, or
They get sexed at the hatchery on the day that they hatch. So when they hatch, a team of ladies goes out there, and they literally squeeze the back end of the duck, and if a little penis pops out, it's a male, and if it doesn't, it's a
okay,
female.
right? Ah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they do.
just wondering about that because
Yeah.
with birds you can't really distinguish male and female, are they? By sight.
Well, you can if you know exactly what you're looking for. So, but you've got to be trained to, it's not easy to do. Occasionally they do get it wrong, and so in our pen of females we do end up with some missexes that we do have to eventually get rid of. Yeah, and to do that, about a week before we send them out at 18 weeks, we literally pen them up at one end of the shed, and then we go and we pick each one up and listen. If it quacks, it's a female. If it doesn't, it's a male. So if it makes this squirrely sort of noise that's not really a quack, then it's a male. But if it goes
right.
when you pick it up, then it's a female and it gets chucked over.
Ah, cool.
And the other ones, well, yeah,
Yeah.
What if it mooed?
I'd be fucking impressed. There are some that refuse to make any sound when you pick them up. They just look at you. And you think, yeah, you know what's happening, don't you, mate? You're not going to give anything away. You shake it and you look at it and it just looks back at you.
Hey, what do I do?
Yeah,
I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
yeah. That's my alarm going off. I've got chicken.
Well, that's what I
pieces
said.
in
If he
the oven.
moves, you'll go, okay, well, this one's a cow. He gets saved. Stewie was thinking the same thing I did with the ducks flipped over on their back, a tortoise duck.
Yeah.
Yes, Stewie.
Yes, Phil. Some do get lost, inverted commas, like under the wheel or under the tractor. He said they pop like a balloon or something similar. The sound. But like running over one of those cane toads up in Queensland, I suppose. They'd go pop, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah.
They go pop, John?
Oh, no,
They don't go pop.
get the golf. No, get golf clubs out on those fellas.
Golf clubs. 4.
Oh, par 3, tricky dog leg. Let's give it a go.
The buckets are still hopping.
Oh, he's landed only 2 yards away from the pin. No, hop the other way. Go on. Go on. Now, that would make golf interesting. I'd watch that.
It would do, wouldn't it?
Need something to brighten out, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you do.
And cricket. It would work in cricket as well.
Imagine bowling a frog at you.
Oh, nothing finer than the sound of frog on willow. Yeah. Oh, new balls, please.
You frog.
New frog. Seem to made a mess of this one.
What am I thinking of weasels for?
Weasel.
What? Weasels?
No, that wouldn't work. Don't be silly. Weasels. That wouldn't work.
No. What do we do first? Oh, that's right. I was trying to remember what we did first.
I don't know. It's your show. You're in charge.
How am I supposed to know what's going on?
Terry, the first thing you do always is procrastinate.
Let me think about that one.
Yeah.
I've been told I'm indecisive, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, jury's out on that one.
What do you
Think about that one.
need? Do you need the thing in here, or do you want it out there to help read?
Are we doing that biography
Where's the biography?
by John V. Barry?
Yeah, that's the one. Just check to see if it's going to fit. Okay, it's not going to fit there. Try. Okay, it's going to have to go there. I'll just check to see if it's going to fit. Just tweak it a bit. There. That'll do. Okay. Well, if it makes it easier for you to have it out from over there, I can just share it in here anyway.
Oh yeah, I've got it open on
Okay.
open on another tab. So that's no great shakes.
Will it be any better if I make it like that? Can I go one more? No. It has to be there. Small writing.
It is.
This is going to do my eyes.
I don't mind reading it. I've got no problem reading it.
Yeah, because you've got it on a big screen and I've only got it on a third.
Like I say, I've got it on the other screen, separate tab, and of course I can zoom in as well. So
I'll read the first paragraph to start off with.
Yep, righto.
Kelly Edward, Ned, 1855 to 1880, by John V. Barry, It was published in the Australian Dictionary Biography Volume 5 in 74, online in 2008. The previous version, I don't know what that is. We're not going to do that. Edward Ned Kelly, 1855 to 1880, bushranger, was born in 1854 or 1855 at Belridge, Victoria. The eldest son of John Red Kelly and his wife Eileen nee Quinn. His father was born in Tipperary, Ireland, in 1820 and sentenced in 1841 to 7 years transportation for stealing 2 pigs. He arrived in Van Diemen's Land in 1842. When his sentence expired in 1848, he went to the Port Phillip district, where on 18th of November 1850 he married Ellen, the 18-year-old daughter of James and Mary Quinn. They had 5 daughters and 3 sons. I think I can manage one more paragraph.
Okay.
Ned attended school at Avenel until his father died in 27 December 1866. Left indigent, the widow and children moved to a hut at 11 Mile Creek, about halfway between Greta and Glenrowan in northern Victoria, where James Quinn had taken up a cattle run of 25,000 acres of poor country in 1862. Well known in the district, the Quinns and 2 Lloyd brothers, who had married into the family, were suspected by the police in connection with thefts of horses and cattle. In 1869, Ned was arrested for alleged assault on a Chinaman and held for 10 days on remand, but the charge was dismissed. Next year, he was arrested and held in custody for 7 weeks on suspected accomplice of a bushranger, Harry Power. But again, the charge was dismissed. Okay. There you go.
Right. In 1870, Kelly was convicted of summary offences and imprisoned for 6 months. Soon after release, he was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for receiving a mare, knowing it to have been stolen. In 1874, he was discharged from prison and his mother married George King. Kelly worked for 2 years at timber getting, whatever that is, but in 1876 joined his stepfather in stealing horses. A much more honourable profession. What is timber getting, other than getting timber? The Kelly family saw themselves as victims of police persecution, but as they grew up, the boys were probably privy to the organised thefts of horses and cattle, for which the district was notorious. Ned's younger brother James, born in 1858, was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for cattle stealing in 1873. Released in 1877, he went to Wagga Wagga. I love these place names.
Wagga Wagga.
Wagga Wagga.
Wagga Wagga.
Wagga. Well, why isn't it spelt with an O then?
I don't know. Just how
Okay,
we pronounce it, Wagga Wagga.
See, not only is it a silly place name, you can't even spell it right. Okay, Wagga Wagga. When he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for stealing horses. There's a pattern here, isn't there?
Yes, there will be.
Oh, he lived respectably after his release from jail and died in 1946. His mother, always known as Mrs. Kelly, despite her second marriage, died in 1923. The third brother, Dan, 1861 to 1880, had been sentenced to 3 months imprisonment in 1877 for damaging property. And soon after his release in 1878, a warrant was issued for his arrest for stealing horses. Oh, there we go, stealing horses again. On the 15th of April, a police trooper named Fitzpatrick, or was he named Fitzpatrick, went to Mrs. Kelly's home, allegedly to arrest Dan. Fitzpatrick claimed that Ned Kelly shot him. Ned consistently denied that he was present, but 3 policemen later testified that he had confessed to them. The true facts have never been satisfactorily established. Dan went into hiding. Mrs. Kelly, her son-in-law, William Skillion, and a neighbour, William Williamson, they really took an effort at names, didn't they?
No.
Were arrested and charged with aiding and abetting the attempted murder of Fitzpatrick. In October, they were tried at Beechworth and convicted. The judge, Sir Redmond Barry, sentenced her to imprisonment for 3 years and the 2 males for 6. Rewards of £100 were offered for the apprehension of Ned and Dan Kelly, who went into hiding in the Wombat Ranges near Mansfield. They were joined by Joe Byrne, born 1857, from Beechworth, and Steve Hart, 1860, a daring horseman from... Go on then, how'd you say that?
Where are we?
A daring horseman from...
Wangaratta.
Oh, so you do say it like it's spelled. Oh, make your minds up. Wangaratta. Oh dear, I can't say nothing. Some of the PlayStation.
I'm not going to make this any easy for you.
I know. Soon afterwards, Sergeant Kenny and Constables Lonigan, Scanlon, and McIntyre set out to capture Ned and Dan, and on the 25th of October, camped at Stringy Bark Creek, where they were seen by Ned. Next day, Kennedy and Scanlon went out on patrol, leaving Lonigan and McIntyre at the camp. The Kelly gang surprised the camp, and when Lonigan drew his revolver, Ned shot him dead. McIntyre surrendered. When Kennedy and Scanlon returned, they did not surrender when called on, and in an exchange of shots, Ned killed Scanlon and mortally wounded Kennedy. Ned later shot him in the heart, claiming it was an act of mercy. McIntyre escaped to Mansfield and reported the killings. On the 15th of November, the Victorian government issued a proclamation of outlawry and offered rewards of £500 for each of the gang, alive or dead. Police were mobilised, but their methods of pursuit and of obtaining information were crude and inept. On the 9th of December, the Kelly gang took possession of a sheep station at Faithful's Creek, about 4 miles out of Euroa.
Yep.
Okay. Locking up 22 persons in the storeroom. While Byrne guarded the captives, the other three went to Euroa, where they held up the National Bank, taking £2,000 in notes and gold. This crime resulted in a doubling of the reward, but on Saturday, the 8th of February, 1879, the gang struck again. This time in Geraldary.
Yeah, pretty close.
Okay. A town about 30 miles, that's real money, or 48 kilometres, north of the Murray River. They locked up 2 policemen and took possession of the police station. Well, seems a good thing to do. They can't nick you then. Remaining there until Monday morning. Wearing police uniforms, they held up the Bank of New South Wales for £2,141 in notes and coin, and rounded up 60 persons in the Royal Hotel next door. Ned had given a written statement of over 8,000 words to a bank teller. What became of the original and of an earlier statement, which Kelly sent to Donald Cameron, MLA, whatever that stands for, is not known. But long after Kelly's death, copies made by a clerk in the Crown Law Department became available. Known as the Cameron Letter and the Gerald Derry Letter, they are Kelly's explanation and justification of his conduct.
It's pronounced Geraldary.
Of course it is. Geraldary. Anyway, damn Aussies. The reward for the outlaws was increased £2,000 a head, and black trackers were bought from Queensland. Aaron Sherritt, a friend of Joe Burns, became an agent for the police, and on Saturday, 27th of June, 1880, was shot dead by Byrne in his own doorway near Beechworth, while the 4 constables assigned to guard Sherritt hid in a bedroom. Byrne and Dan then joined Ned and Hart at Glenrowan, where they took possession of the hotel run by Mrs. Ann Jones and detained about 60 people. The outlaws foresaw that a special train would be sent from Melbourne on Sunday night and would arrive at Glenrowan early on Monday, the 29th of June. But with the intention of wrecking it, they compelled 2 railway workers to tear up some of the rails. The scheme came to nothing because a schoolmaster, Thomas Curnow, whom Ned had allowed to leave the hotel with his wife, child, and sister, gave warning to the train crew. The other outlaws were equipped with armour made from plough mouldboards, and Ned was protected by a cylindrical headpiece, breast and back plates, and apron, weighing about 90 pounds, 41 kilos. That's quite a weight.
Wow.
Yeah. Little sleep and much consumption of alcohol affected their judgment. Who didn't see that coming? And although the armour limited their movements and use of firearms, it gave them a false sense of invulnerability. Under Superintendent Hare, The police approached the hotel and shooting began. Hare was shot in the arm and Ned wounded in the foot, hand, and arm. Dan, Byrne, and Hart took refuge in the hotel and Ned went into the bush. The police continued to fire. Byrne was shot in the thigh as he stood at the hotel bar and bled to death. About 5 a.m., Ned returned, still clad in armour, looking huge and grotesque in the early mist. He was brought down by bullet wounds in the legs. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't cover your legs, did you?
No.
Oops. Most of the captives in the hotel had succeeded in leaving the building, the last of them emerging about 10 a.m. An old man named Cherry was in a detached kitchen, fatally wounded by a police bullet. Young John Jones, son of the hotel keeper, was similarly shot in the abdomen and died in hospital. With Ned captured and Byrne dead, only Dan and Hart were not accounted for, but the police continued to fire sporadically until about 3 p.m., when the policeman set the building on fire. We've seen that somewhere else before, haven't we? Father Matthew Gibney went into the burning building to administer the last rites and reported 3 dead bodies were inside. One, Burns, was brought out by police. The other 2 were those of Dan and Hart, who had apparently taken poison and were burned beyond recognition. On the 28th to the 29th of October 1880 at Melbourne, Kelly was tried for the murder of Constable Thomas Lonigan at Stringybark Creek. He was found guilty and the judge, Redmond Barry, sentenced him to death. Despite strong agitation for a reprieve, Kelly was hanged at the Melbourne jail on the 11th of November. He met his end without fear. His last words were, "Oh, well, I suppose it has come to this," later rendered by a journalist as, "Such is life." Henry Turner.
He abbreviated that back, didn't he?
I was going just Noah, whatever, yeah. Henry Turner described Ned Kelly as a shabby skulker, but observed it was a humiliating reflection that the whole machinery of government, the apparent zeal of a well-disciplined and costly police service, the stimulus of enormous rewards, and an expenditure of fully £100,000 were, for 2 whole years, insufficient to check the predatory career of these 4 reckless daredevil boys. That's a lot of money. Beside Ned, his 3 companions are shadowy figures and would have been soon forgotten without him. In the Bulletin, 31st December 1966, Malcolm Ellis described Ned Kelly as one of the most cold-blooded, egotistical, and utterly self-centered criminals who ever decorated the end of a rope in an Australian jail. I like that. As the outlaws were undoubtedly murderers and robbers, they should have excited public detestation. Yet it did not turn out that way. And the hold the Kelly legend has on Australian imagination is too clearly established to be disregarded. However deplorable, the popular estimate of Kelly's killings of the police at Stringybark Creek accords with his statement, "I could not help shooting them, or else let them shoot me," which they would have done if their bullets had been directed as they intended. Whilst elements of farce surrounding the bank robberies at Uara and
Jewellery.
Distract attention from the gravity of the crimes. Clive Turnbull claims that Ned Kelly is the best known Australian, our only folk hero. Popular instinct has found in Kelly a type of manliness much to be esteemed. To reiterate, courage, resolution, independence, sympathy with the underdog. The legend brought into being the phrase "as game as Ned Kelly" for describing the ultimate in bravery, inspired numberless imaginative tales and folk ballads, and has taken new life in Sidney Nolan's series of Kelly Gang paintings. The legend still persists and seemingly has a compelling quality that appeals to something deeply rooted in the character of the average Australian. And I'll take your word for that. Being un-Australian. But from the sounds of it, he was just a thoroughly nasty bloke. You know, spent all that time stealing other people's stuff and seemed to have absolutely no problem at all in shooting people.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, he
And they
came
think that
over
makes a
here
folk hero.
from stealing pigs in the first place. So
Well, no, his dad did.
Oh, his dad did, yeah.
Yes. I suppose to some extent it was in the blood. You know,
Yeah.
his dad had gone over to Australia because he stole a couple of pigs. And yeah, I think it was certainly in the family that they'd rather steal horses and cattle than actually go out and work for a living.
During the day? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he was only, 25?
Well, there's no suddenly you couldn't get a job, so you had to do something.
Well, yeah, I've got to Google now. What is timber getting?
It's timber getting cut wood, doing fence posting.
Oh, well, here we go.
You get timber.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a lot of fence posted in those days, like for sheep farmers and cattle farmers.
Timber, the first natural resource to be used by Australia's early settlers. Yeah, I think it is literally getting timber, cutting down trees, getting timber getting.
Yeah, for posts. Or...
Yeah, I said that. Would have saved you Google.
What you mean? You mean like lumberjacks?
The jack lumber.
Not
leaping from tree to tree.
Yeah, not in a sense, but when you're cutting, there's sort of fence posting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into this letter that they're mentioning, the Cameron letter that he handed the.
Oh, what when he explained why he did what he did and all the rest of it.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Sound like a bad way to travel, really. You think about it. Steal a couple of pigs, get a free plane ticket to Australia.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do pigs, please.
I mean,
you could just steal a loaf of bread.
Huh? Yeah, do you get to keep the pigs or do you have to give them back?
I don't know. It didn't say. I'm hoping that if he pinched them, he at least enjoyed them. You know, lots and lots of varied pork products. Oh yeah, of course. The only thing you can't eat on a pig is the squeal.
I'll do a bit of homework on that later, and we'll see if I can find out about these letters.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I get tied up in the peanut gallery sometimes trying to figure out their conversations.
I know. I've just realised what I've missed whilst I was reading all that. Well, Gary was out there.
He was, or he is?
Well, I don't know whether he still is. He was, but I'm having to scroll up a bit.
Oh, he's saying good day. Good day, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary, it's not flat.
Don't stir him up.
Just like that, you know, it's still not flat.
I see. Who was the first person that typed in before I went live? I've seen someone. Who was that?
Oh yeah.
Forgot what was.
Oh, it's dropped off now. It's just got because he said something about we was going to have a real FE scientist, and of course that's what I commented on.
Yeah.
What do you mean a real FE? A real FE scientist? Yeah, that'll be the day.
That's a contradiction in terms.
Exactly.
Well, those two words don't belong in the same sentence, really.
Possibly.
Yep. I can't think who it was now. One of the trolls.
What kind of strange saying is that? farmer.
Well, they do say that with pigs, the only part of the pig you can't eat
Is the squeal.
is the squeal or the oink, because I think every part of a pig, so traditionally anyway, just about every part of the pig you can eat. You know, from the snout to the trotters and all points in between. It's just one of those old sayings that's always been around. The only thing you can't eat is the squeal.
You can't eat the bones, but you can use them to make soup.
Well, there you go. You can use just about every part of the pig. I mean, I've never eaten pig's trotters because it doesn't look particularly appetizing, but
Good old pan hand soup.
Gary's got to go to work on a Saturday.
Well, that is the problem. Oh, thank you. Thank God it's flat. That is the problem with keeping livestock. You can't have days off. I remember that from when my dad used to keep pigs. You can't. No, sorry, pigs. You're not getting fed today. It's Sunday. You'll have to wait. You know, it's that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, ducks. It's a public holiday today. Don't eat.
You can't eat. Exactly. It doesn't matter. There are no days off when you're raising livestock.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons he got rid of pigs. But...
Yeah, they've got to have the breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, afternoon snack.
That's right. Carl Evans has reposted. Thank God it's flats. Comment.
In 6 hours' time, that was back a couple of hours ago, though.
Yeah, and yes, Dora, I called myself Farmer's Boy because I grew up on a farm. My dad is a farmer, hence Farmer's Boy. Yeah, but no, everybody just assumes I'm a farmer.
at least with the ducks, like it doesn't matter whether we feed them first thing in the morning or mid-morning or late morning, as long as they get fed. But with damn milking cows, it's got to be at that time every morning and that time every evening.
Yes.
Otherwise, the cows are lining up and the milk's running out already.
Yeah.
They start whinging, bellowing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Dad never did cattle. The most he ever did was pigs. But even then, they've got to be fed. You can't say, "Oh, sorry, I can't be asked. I'm not going out there today."
I've milked cows before.
I haven't.
By hand.
I had the unenviable job of helping the estate my brother worked on. I worked there on my first summer holiday after finishing school before I'd got a proper job. And we were there for stacking bales, but they said, I heard the cattle, they all need to have their injections. So can you come and help us sort them all out and put them in what they call a cattle crush? And basically, it's an open-ended cage that takes one cow at a time. So you guide the cow in. And then because they're not overly keen on it, you have a couple of guys at the back holding an iron bar across the open end to stop the cow reversing out. And then Matey Boy with his gun and his backpack, he shoves the thing down the cow's throat and gives them a squirt. That's the injection. The cow doesn't like it. Cows, when they get irate and upset, their tails start to flick backwards and forwards at a vast rate of knots, and then they start shitting.
Yeah.
And it goes everywhere. And you're one of the two guys at the back holding the steel pole in place to stop the cow from reversing out whilst cow shit's going everywhere. No, I don't ever want to be a dairy farmer. Thank you very much.
Well, it could be hippopotamuses.
Yeah, but
and as they shit, their tails whirl around and spread the shit even wider.
That's what I want to say. The cows were bad enough. That stuff was flying everywhere. We were bloody covered in it.
Confucius say, "He who stands too close to a cow may get pat on the head."
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, sod that. You see, a field of wheat doesn't give you these problems. You just sit there and watch it grow. And then hope it doesn't rain just before harvest and flattens the whole bloody lot. Yeah, that's why I became an engineer. Sit in nice, warm, comfortable, well, sometimes warm, comfortable offices.
Oh, it must be Lindsay time, is it?
Oh, is it time to go and put the kettle on again?
Yeah, I better go and put the kettle on. Never
It's always a good
stand.
excuse to miss at least 5 minutes of Lindsay. Oh, I'll go downstairs and put the
Gary
kettle on.
said, "Don't never stand behind a coughing cow."
Coughing cow. No. He's absolutely right on that score, yeah. Bloody things. No, I no, thank you. I appreciate what we get out of them, but not that part of it, no.
Where are we? Right one. There we go.
Oh, hello. He's got
That's
the Gleason.
And he's changed his name. He's called Flat Earth Philosophy now, and he's got an image, the thumbnail.
Oh.
So he's stepped up.
Wow. Crikey.
And I think it's part 2 of Flight Times. Flights to Southern Field and that book. So this would be part 2 from last week.
Oh, now that looks like an incomplete Gleason's map because it should have the 2 clock hands on it.
Yeah. Well,
They always seem to be
it's
missing the
part
clock
2.
hands.
Welcome to some information on Flat Earth knowledge, Flat Earth philosophy. I'll try to avoid the word science because science is too connected to the BS of the spinning ball. So we don't want to get confused with BS science as opposed to true Flat Earth knowledge. I've got a few things to talk about today, all by memory, because if I start trying to take notes I get all confused because it's like playing with a can of worms, trying to line them all up. Doesn't work. So I just try and get it all out from what's in my head by memory, so bear with me. First of all, we'll start off with this cardanoid over the flat Earth. Now, if you read some historical books, you'll find there's a trench. It's to do with the subduction of Earth.
What?
Earth renews itself through subduction. There's the Lomonosov Ridge the Russians found back in the 50s or late 40s and kept it quiet for about 7 years. It's all connected to this big, what we call it, underwater valley or whatever. It must be connected to the
Or whatever.
it comes out down through the Atlantic, out around the bottom of Australia, right around here, and then back in up here through the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, he's just making it up as he goes along.
Yeah.
But then there's minor, just like up in space, you have a main event, then you have all the minor events. Just like in a magnet, you cut it down, you get smaller and smaller compartments to it, or fractals of. But we've got this. It's all related to as above, so below. What's up there and what we see in the stars and everything is connected to down here. We get this shape. This basically comes out, it spirals out. If you think of the moon cycle or whatever, spiraling out in that Fibonacci cycle. If you just dotted each day of the month, it'll go out and it comes back in again. But you can imagine it's going around all the time.
He's talking about the Fibonacci cycle. Isn't that a scientific discovery?
Well, usually the words Fibonacci and cycle don't go together. It's more likely to be the words Fibonacci and sequence.
But that's another matter of special bodies. But anyway, back to Earth here. We've got this underwater, like this. Now, the funny thing is, well, it's not that funny because I keep talking about it. Like I say, as above, so below. We get this cardanoid in our cup of coffee if we're facing the sun. You want to try it? The sun will be here, back to this way. Right? Let's turn around, might be easier to look, understand. So if you can imagine, when you look, creation is from the centre of the flat Earth. Everything is created from the centre. So if you're back here and you're looking, things are going to appear to come around like this, aren't they? And that's what they do. Because everything spirals out of the centre north vortex. There's a centre north vortex in here.
But it doesn't though, does
There's a
it?
slice of the donut. Centre of creation is back in here, not inside the solid donut, is it? Separate. Well, creation's right back at the centre. That's the centre north. Centre north creation. There's a vortex that comes all the way out. Look to the tropics. It's turning. So as a star, let's say it's night time, and the star comes around, you'll see it come out. It's all reflected out here. So imagine you're looking, there's a big spiral back here. As that turns, the stars turn with it. So we have two effects. You've got the northern one and the southern one, but I've just drawn the one. We're just looking at one. So just imagine you can see that from the north and we see one in the south. So if we're out in the south, you'll tend to see the star come around from the northeast, east, and then over us, and then disappear as it goes back around. Everything's spiraling out of the centre. I hope you can think about that. I can't explain it very well, but that's the way it is. Look at that. And this is what turns. So no matter where you are on the earth, you'll always get this pattern. That's your image. But guess what? It all shrinks back onto your dome. You see, that's your horizon. That image will be reflected back onto your one circular dome of horizon, arc of horizon. No matter where you are around here, that will turn and reflect onto there. So let's say it's daylight, anywhere around here, put your cup of coffee out, you'll get this carbanoid look in your cup. And that's where the sun is. That's the centre of creation. It'll always look like that. Because everything is coming out of the centre of Earth. Got that? Now Dave, that moron, was talking about flight times. Well, you only have to do a little bit of research and you'll find, well, everything he says is garbage. You take flight times near the equator between, say, Venezuela, all the way around to, say, Nigeria. That's the widest part of Earth apparently, but it's 5 hours or something. But then you come right out to, say, New Zealand, Auckland to Perth. I think it's that one. It's similar. It's the same. And you're crossing the same amount of longitudes. If you have to work on longitudes, don't worry about the expansion. You're still working on longitudes. 15 degrees out here is still 15 degrees back here. So work on the longitudes. It's the same. It's a 5.5 hour flight, same longitudes. Yet shouldn't it be a lot longer flying out here, according to old silly man Dave? And on their spinning ball, it should be a lot longer back on their spinning ball. And then you've got to take their pear shape into consideration. Bulges more at the equator. Well, shouldn't that be a lot longer to get from Venezuela to Nigeria than it would from Auckland to Perth? No, they're the same. This is where you have to start thinking, because despite what we see the longitude spreading like this, because that's creation from the centre, it's coming out, so it has to expand outwards. But because we are, as individuals, are all centre of the universe, come from the black hole, because everything's from the black hole exploded out, everything moves with you. So basically, the light is parallel. And this is where science tells you that the light's coming in parallel rays from the sun. And it's not
Almost parallel. You could consider it parallel, though.
As near as makes no odds, yeah.
Yeah.
really, it's just that you're the centre of the universe, so you expand with it. So basically, everything is parallel with you, but you will expand out with the electromagnetic field, because we're all part of the electromagnetic field, so we're all moving with it. We're just moulding with it. This is why we can't get out. We're part of this electromagnetic field. We're fractals of light. We are light beings. So this is the best. That's how you do a flat earth map. There's no other way around it. You have to do it. But you have to then think of it like this. Coming out of the centre of creation, it's all reflected out to the equator area, say. Because creation is just this one centre point here, and it goes to the equator. Everything beyond there is the parabolic reflection of the north, atmospheric wise, or everything from in here wise, seen at night. It's a parabolic image out here. It's just a reflection. But terra firma is different to this. The Egyptian explain all this like this is, oh, no, it's going a bit deep, but anyway. You've got a fixed and stationary earth on the black hole, the state of rest. Then you have the sun, where all the action is happening. The sun creates all the action in here. And it's all being reflected from here. We are part of it. So if this...
That one thing I've never picked up on is when he says reflection from the centre to the outside, is why the stars look different in the northern to the southern, and the rotations and all that. One thing
he literally uses the word reflected as a magic word. It's a magic explain all for him. He doesn't explain how it gets reflected or what's doing the reflection, or he doesn't sort of explain it in terms of a reflection needs something to be reflected off, and you need a source for that reflection and somewhere for the image to form. Okay, so it's just not like he says. And just on that Venezuela to Nigeria and Perth to Auckland thing, Auckland to Perth is about 5,200 kilometres. Venezuela to Nigeria is about 8,300 kilometres. They're not the same at all.
A little bit of a difference.
This is a reflection, parabolic image, this one here, of this. Then it's going to go like this. But yeah, it's just, you've moulded with it. You're just part of it. You just, very hard to explain. But this is why they fold it back around and create a ball, spinning ball design. But obviously we're not spinning it sideways or upside down. And when you think about it, if you go back to their ball, if you're in an aeroplane, you're flying, but how do you get your altitude? Altitude is governed by the horizon, right? So you're way up there. There has to be a curve, isn't there? It's only 12,000 k's radius, isn't it, the spinning ball? So, and if you're going to be flying around, say,
not. That's about twice the value it should be.
Around the south, New Zealand to Perth, isn't your plane going to be like this? If you're going to be following the horizon, and it's not flat, obviously it's flat because it is flat. But considering their ball, the plane would have to be like this, which means everybody in there is leaning to their left, with north to the right.
No.
Why would it be
flying around?
Because the direction of down
changes. No, but it doesn't make sense. They come up with all this garbage all the time.
If you're going to criticise our model,
at
least understand it first.
The tilting earth. Yeah. The other bit of garbage is the tilting earth. They have to say.
And he said upside down, and I'm going, okay, which way's up and which way's down then?
Down. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to straw man our model like that, like you've shown a complete disregard for an understanding of what the model actually is.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's science. He didn't want to talk about science.
The southern south is a lot larger. They'll say the sun.
Yeah, it's a golf ball. I thought it was just a float from a fishing thing, but somebody said it's a nail through a golf ball.
That's what I think it is.
How would you nail a nail?
It's about the right size for a golf ball, doesn't it?
How do you get a nail through a golf ball?
With a hammer?
Yeah. A bloody good run up. Hammer. You put the golf ball in your vice, or just hold it against your bench. You put the nail up against it. You take said hammer in hand and.
No, you put the nail in the vice, and then you could do that way, then you stand back with the golf club and the golf ball.
Yeah. And swing, keep swinging until you hit it.
Yeah.
And which iron would you suggest using for this?
I don't know, anyone. It doesn't really matter.
You're
going to be swinging till the cows come home anyway.
Not. I'm suspecting a sand wedge or anything like that.
No.
Not that I know anything about golf, of course.
Not unless you've got your vice up on the ceiling.
What would you?
Oh yeah.
What would you be thinking about a sand wedge? That's not lunchtime.
Yeah. Not a sandwich.
Oh.
The spinning ball's closer to the sun for the southern summer, right? Which means, and this one has to be further away.
No, Clive said we're going to start
because
again.
You're getting less sun in the north here, so it's a smaller area. So they have to have it way over here, and that suits their.
I've only just made this cup of tea. Come on, give it a chance.
It has to be smaller back here in the north. The sun's analemma. It's a lot smaller at the top in the north. So this is their excuse. Hang on, where are we? We're like this, like that.
What?
Southern sun there comes around here, so it's be further away to explain the analemma. But in saying this, if this is further here, because that's the elliptic, they give you an elliptic. Well, they're talking
not
ball
that
garbage.
big. It's not as much as what you think it is.
What they're saying is the season from here, from the equinox, all the way there. This is a lot longer. This season would have to be a lot longer, wouldn't it?
And it is.
Than this season here. If it's just a spinning ball like this. But no, it's not. It's no different, is it? I mean, just look at the analemma, for one, and two. But then they say, "Oh no, it's so minute, you don't."
Isn't the analemma show?
It actually is different. from one equinox, I think it's from the September to the March equinox, is 185 days, and the other one is only 180 days. There's 5 days difference in the two halves, Lindsay. So you're right. It would have to be longer, and it actually is.
You know, nothing's noticeable. They have to make up a story and say, oh no, yeah, it is, but it's not. It's garbage. See? Tilted garbage. And the analemma. And look, if their Earth isn't a sphere, but more pear-shaped, then going around the sun like this. We should see that pear shape taking effect in the sun's analemma. Affecting the sun's analemma, but it doesn't, does it?
Why would we?
You know? When you look at the flat Earth,
the Earth has nothing to do
although
with
the analemma is out here, they show it out here. In effect, you're talking about the whole Earth, so you've got the smaller zone in the north here and the bigger zone out here. So obviously it's bigger out here because of the southern hemisphere. You can't deny it. It's the equinox, the solstice. That should be the same as that. But there's nothing to show that the Earth is pear-shaped spinning ball in this figure, and it doesn't show this having a longer season than this out here. If anything, this should be a longer season, but it doesn't quite work like
that. Have you counted the days between the equinoxes, Lindsay?
So,
no.
Longitude, 15 degrees. It's 15 degrees. 1 hour, 1 hour. And even if you go right up north and go on the spinning ball, if you go from Canada, Saskatchewan, to say Norway, you have the very small longitudes right up here. But you look at it, it's about a 9.5 hour flight. It travels about 7 longitudes. And then compare that with the Nigeria to Venezuela, and then compare it from Auckland to Perth. They're all the same. They're all pretty relative to one another. It's just garbage trying to say that things will be different out here, flight times. So let's go back to creation, eh? Look back in here, the Milky Way in the sun, in the centre, the part of the donut we do not see because we're in the solid part. Blow it up a bit, it's like this. It's inside the Milky Way. That's the black hole. You've got the two forces coming this way and the two forces coming this way. Everything's a dual system. No matter what's happening, there'll be a dual action. So there'll be a dual action here, there'll be a dual action here. Then you take one action, two actions. Then you break that down again.
Are you talking about a washing machine?
Egyptian, this would be the black hole.
Sounds
is,
like it.
Yeah.
Amun Ra.
Like a hammer drill.
I don't know video on that. I'll break it all down. How the Egyptians explained it all. So the black hole, around the black hole, the sun has created the spark, the voltage in the whole system. Under pressure, because it's in this tight magnetic field. That's where they get plasma. Scientists know that. That's what it is, plasma. So
you said you weren't going to talk about science.
Because this is the dual system, the start of creation. The primordial waters separated. There was the, it's all about compression and contraction. Compression and contraction, magnetic fields. And this is what the sun does over the year. North, push it down, contraction, pops out to the south.
He's got a hell of imagination, I'll give him that much.
He does, yeah.
Expansion and contraction, the tides, twice a day. The sun, once a month, up, down. New moon, full moon, back to new moon. The sun.
No, it doesn't have a monthly
equinox, up to the northern summer, down to the equinox, down to the solstice, December solstice. But it's all about pressure, expansion and contraction. Contraction, pushing it out. Expansion, or is that expansion? Contraction, expansion, contraction. You look at Earth, electrical system, electrical, magnetic field within here.
Faster.
Everything is a projection. Earth and sea is the capacitor. Atmospheric moisture is a resistor. Downward cycle of pressure is the southern field summer. Or expansion. Upward cycle is the northern summer. Follow magnetic field pressure.
Okay.
The sun is in here. There's the real sun. We see the sun out here, obviously. Everything's in this tropical region right in the middle. Because that's in the middle, everything has been amplified out. It's created this. So everything's hanging around here. But then you've got all the
Imagine
background
that's the real
stars.
sun if you don't
and
see
they're
it.
all in the background, aren't they?
Well,
Holographic
Oh, there's an
projection
awful
moves
bunch of
to the
problems here,
equator to the south. 2 hemispheres, just like the human brain. From the same person, aren't they? From the same head. They are from the same head. Just opposites. It's a dual system. Say a female, male. There's a male and female in everything. The feminine, the feminine is the 9. We could go into that a little bit.
He's trying to compare the brain to the drawing he's got there, when a brain is actually 2 hemispherical domes, if you could put it that way, like split. But then he's donut. He's only just got the cutaway of the donut. So the brain's not half a donut cut in the centre.
Number 9 is in here. That's the lucky spot. The unseen. Divine number 9. The feminine.
Yeah.
See,
Where's he get 9 from?
666. Carbon 18. 1 plus 8. We're given the 8, but we're missing the cornerstone. The cornerstone.
Did we see this last week? You sure we're not repeating the same one we watched last week, Paul? Remember this?
yeah, we saw this last week, mate.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Good luck.
See, I wouldn't know that. 'Cause presumably you watched this on Wednesday, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've already sat through all this nonsense.
I've just remembered the carbon when he said that last week. It's a repeat, Carl. Yes, exactly.
It's all right.
Stone
You're in
is
the
the lucky
vortex,
9.
mate.
Is the
Don't
divine
worry
number.
about it.
9.
Oh no.
You have to go to this place to be reborn, recreated, to go back into nature.
I'm sorry
The
for the
place
ones
of
I had
divine
to put
creation
put
is in
it through
here.
again, but
It's all here. You imagine, picture this as your brain. You go in there from the primordial
still,
waters, the
it
dark
still
matter
doesn't make sense the second time round.
of the
It
brain.
doesn't matter how many times you watch it.
And it's to do with waters. When it's parts, the moisture, it's about water. And then the sun creates the photons or whatever, or the magic, the life, into the water. Gives it matter.
Magic
Creates
photons.
everything. But the matter comes up from the
Bing,
ocean,
bing.
from out of the water. The bottom of the earth comes out of the earth. The earth is what creates everything. As the earth changes and moves, things happen that comes up through the ocean. Change the layer of the ocean.
Oh.
Ocean changes the layer of the atmosphere. This is climate change. We can't alter it much as people.
You know where I thought he was going to go then? As the oceans rise, it gives us our atmospheric pressure in the dome.
Oh my god.
It's from down here.
Sorry, I think Lindsay's rubbing off on me.
Comes up. Sea affects this. This does not affect the ice. This affects the ice in the sea. What's coming from below the ocean. Left eye is your right brain. Right eye is your left brain. Picture of Earth again. The sun creates life. Everything that moves in our world is due to the sun and its magnetic field. Celestial navigation. Check this side out. Heaps of information in there. And that idiot Professor Dave was going on about, so it must be catching on, this dome of horizon. Everybody having their own arc of horizon. Everything coming back. You are always zenith. It says it in here. It's got it there. It explains this dome. You are always zenith of your dome. And things come back to you. Where's the angular, what would there be an angular difference in the sunrise to sunset? If it's a beautiful arc like this over you, with the disc looking at you. Look, it's always right angles, isn't it? You know, spinning ballers, they get on your site and say the stupidest things because they're ignorant of all science. And they're not thinkers. Look, right angles. Always right angles to you. Dave mentioned this, quickly skimmed over it though, but it's in science and physics. Even physicists are now talking about this. We all have our own arc of horizon. The sun sets on your horizon,
not.
only 5k or so away. Believe it or not.
You've
Rise
provided
up.
me one
What
physicist that's talking
Yeah,
about
exactly. Which one?
Your arc will
Yeah.
rise up. Rise up, Daniel. You will see further.
maybe JM True.
Doesn't mean you're stupid and don't understand if you climb a mountain you'll see further.
He's
No,
outstanding
your arc
in
will
his
rise
field,
up.
isn't he?
So you rise up, you're there,
He must be getting
these will
bored
now
by
come to
now.
there.
Yeah.
They're always that far away from you. You will never get to them. That's explained in physics. scientific way they explain it all. Go higher, ends up here. You never get to it. Get in a plane, you can fly up amongst the stars in a plane, it'll start disappearing. That's where you never get to the sun, never get to the moon.
What you'll start disappearing, or the stars will disappear?
You can keep chasing it, and then you're going to crash. You're going to crash because you're going to hit the firmament. It's not a solid dome.
Well, how are you
It's
going to
a
crash
magnetic
into
field.
it if it's not
We're
solid?
part of the flux. You can't get out. So then you have to think of creation as opposite to reality, to our physical world. So then you have to think, well, there's the pressure. You're going to hit the pressure barrier there.
Pressure from what?
And you're going to crash. You've seen all the rockets and that, and the balloons going up so far and popping as they start falling apart because they're leaving the pressure that holds everything together. You go up, it starts falling apart. It's basically what's happening internally with your body, giving more room to the say the atoms. What are they going to do? If they give the atoms more room, they're going to vibrate more. There's more room to move, which heats up your blood, starts cooking you from inside out.
Oh, it's microwave.
Oh no.
Ding.
Nine, divine number.
Ding.
9,
Yeah,
3,
ding.
6,
That's
9.
nice. Yeah, the
Just
microwave.
to mention these numbers, the hidden numbers, the secrets. 3 a.m. on the 6th day of the 9th month was the day of creation, the Jesus story. Black hole.
Not
The
again.
the ninth month. Yeah,
Black hole
remember
is
that
the
bit too, Paul?
The sun is the
The
sun.
9th month was the
S-U-N.
day of creation.
Yeah.
S-O-N.
What happened on
It's
the
Ra-
8th,
it's
7th,
Ra.
6th, 5th, 4th?
Oh my God.
This was Amun Et,
What were they doing then?
Amun Ra. The great, divine.
I know, they put their order into Amazon on the 1st, and it took to the 9th till it got delivered.
God wasn't
Unseen
organised to create everything.
infinity.
He had to wait 9 months before
Yeah,
he started.
exactly.
To get to the
And on the
Father.
first day, God said, "Nah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
I'm,
Not
I'm-
yet.
all right, I'll have another cup of tea. I'm building up to it. All right." Oh,
Black hole, you go.
and Mrs. God said, "And you got that done yet?" No, don't rush me.
And while you're there, put
It's
the
on
bins,
the list.
and while you're there, put the bins out.
Through
Yeah.
me, the sun. He is the supreme being, is the black hole, the awesome thing of creation, and the sun being created on it, the electrical part. But you have to go through him to get to him. This is the Christ, and this is
Grimfundle said actually day 1 of year 1 was a Saturday.
the Jesus story. The sun. To get to the supreme being, you go through the sun. Get to the Father, you go
Go through the
me.
fart of the sun.
was there.
That's what he said, or the father? Yeah,
What else can I say? Simon Dan, what else were you talking about? Oh. If only I could do graphics and put it all up on a TV, it would blow everybody's minds. I could explain it beautifully. I don't know anybody can do it.
We've already
You don't
done
just
that,
go
right?
out in a small
You,
place
you got there already, buddy.
and say
Yeah.
you're a flat earther and say I need someone to come and help me do the graphics. Not the New Zealand man, they're dozy-does. They go along with all the mainstream media, every bit of bullshit they're taught at school. Actually, on this little island I'm living on, I've met a few people, a couple of guys that think like me, but they're not Kiwis. Well, they are now, but they're recent immigrants. Go figure. One's from Australia and one's from England. I haven't met a Kiwi that thinks like me or knows the truth.
Does that tell you something?
So,
Oh,
It still was it still didn't make any more sense watching it the second time around.
I hear what you're saying, Lindsay, and it sounds remarkably like blah, 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 blah. Utter lunacy. Even with the rebranding, it's still the same old
Yeah.
nonsense.
Okay, that was what the one
Sure
we
is.
watched then. I remember next week is part 1 of that one.
Oh no, I'll miss that. Oh dear. Oh, what a shame.
I want a note from your mum.
Yeah, about what?
Why you're not going to be here?
Well, because I've still got 3 weeks of my contract left. That's why I won't be here.
Fibonacci spiral shavings are fun to make with a nice sharp chisel.
Yeah,
Yes,
but-
they do. No worries, we'll repeat it on the next Saturday's show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dora. We'll do that. Just for Farmer.
No. You don't know. You don't have to do it just for me. You don't have to make everybody sit through that twice. Good grief. Once is hard enough.
Oh, that's a good good incentive not to miss any of my streams. Otherwise, you get to watch a repeat of Lindsay if you're not here.
No, I'm sorry, I'll be at work.
That's probably one of the best reasons not to be here.
Yeah, well, I reckon so. Well, it's my excuse anyway, and I'm sticking to it.
Sticking to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me.
Till I can persuade Jaguar Land Rover that yes, I'll do your job in Liverpool, but I'll do it from here in Silverstone. Thank you very much. I've got absolutely no intention of moving to bloody Liverpool. Silly buggers.
So now that your brains have all been fried, you ready for a hard quiz?
I've got to get my brain back.
Huh?
I've got to get my brain
Well,
back.
I always make provision for getting your brain back. You know that at the start of the hard quiz. So let's get your brains back first, hey?
Here we go.
There you go. Are you getting your brains back?
Oh,
Nope.
yeah.
No, a bit longer yet. Might take another few more minutes.
Are your brains back yet?
I don't know.
I
Like the
can see
peanuts.
Or is something else doing the thinking for you?
Quite
Yeah,
Hey, you don't get me
At my age, Paul, it's a competition.
Now that all the males' brains have lost their blood,
Yep.
we'll get on with the quiz.
What field of physics is that? Well, that's bouncy and density.
Yeah. Okay. Question 1. In the final scene of season 1 of Mindhunter, a song by this band plays as FBI agent Holden Ford is menaced, then embraced by the serial killer Ed Kemper in a hospital room.
Oh God, I've seen that. That is an absolutely outstanding series. But it was a while ago since I've seen it.
Which band is this?
I haven't a clue.
Well, you do. You have one clue, but you just don't know what it means.
Oh, what are you? Some sort of flat earther? Well, let's argue about semantics. But if anybody hasn't seen that, then it's
No, it's not Fleetwood Mac.
it is an excellent series because, of course, it's all based on a true story.
Okay, this one won't be hard. It's not one that's going to take long to get this one. The guitarist for this band played one of their songs at the closing ceremony of the 2012 Olympics with Leona Lewis.
No, I can't remember that either. It's 9 years
Not
ago.
the Australian Symphony Orchestra, not the Wombles.
Oh God, who played at the Olympics?
Yeah.
2012.
That was our Olympics, wasn't it? 2012. Not entirely sure I watched the closing ceremony. I watched the opening ceremony.
Not Genesis, not Queen. This band included songs like In the Light and In My Time of Dying on their 1975 album Physical Graffiti. Yeah, that's right, Farmer's Boy.
Well, if I didn't get it from that clue, I'd throw myself out the window now.
Yeah, that's right.
But you live on
I
the
told you
second
it'd be a
story.
reasonably easy one. Yeah. And so we have Farmer's Boy with the correct answer and Vroom Fondle coming up with the correct answer as well. Well done. The answer was Led Zeppelin. This band used a large foyer to add echo to the drums in their cover of When the Levee Breaks. which
Oh,
appeared
yes.
on their fourth self-titled album, along with a song that begins, "There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold," which is sung by Robert Plant. If you didn't get it from that clue, you're a zombie.
Yeah.
Name this
So-
English hard rock band who recorded Whole Lotta Love and Stairway to Heaven. It was, of course, Led Zeppelin. There you
Still think
go.
they're
There's
one
an
of their-
easy one to get you started.
You got to go
Yeah.
with the Immigrant Song, a song about Vikings.
Yeah.
Absolutely superb.
Hmm.
Or Kashmir.
Oh, Stu got it first, apparently. Well done, Irish Stu, then. Yeah, he did too. I see that now.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Well done.
If only they were all that easy.
Hmm.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Question 2. This letter denotes a topology of the real numbers, defined as all Euclidean open subsets of R, unioned with the difference of R and the set of 1 over n, where n is a positive natural number. What letter is this?
And there you go. It all goes to pot. Yeah, the answer's not Fleetwood Mac for that one either. Yeah.
No, it's not, is it? No, it's not E. It's not I. It's not C. No. This letter and alpha refer to X-rays emitted when an electron transitions from the second shell to the innermost shell. Only 25 to go. It's not Z, no. Not gamma, no. In SI units, 1 over 4 pi times the permittivity of free space equals a constant represented by this letter. It's not E, it's not X, it's not A, it's not U, it's not S or R. In ecology, this letter denotes the quantity that is the horizontal asymptote of the logistic growth model, which is the size at which a population will stabilise. What is the letter? It's not R. It's not N. Name this letter which denotes the proportionality constant in Coulomb's law, the carrying capacity and the equilibrium constant. What is this letter? Well, looks like you need a picture clue, internal chat, because someone out in the external chat's got it. And John Stock has got it, but it's not a capital John. Big Blue I'll give the answer to. He came up with small k, as did Clive Wells. Well done. The answer was K. Okay. Question 3. Butterfly McQueen was controversially banned from attending the premiere of this film, and a young Martin Luther King Jr. sang in front of the theatre at the release of this film. What was the film?
Who the bloody hell is Butterfly McQueen? Nah.
Nah. Okay. NBC paid $5 million for a one-off TV airing of this film in 1976. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird, no. It's not the Muppet Christmas Special. It's not Clockwork Orange, no. Carlton Moses called this film a rear attack on the Negro people.
Total punt. Trying to think when it was
That's
done.
not right. It's not Blazing Saddles, Farmer's Boy.
70s. What else could that be?
Walter Francis White accused a certain woman of being an Uncle Tom for accepting an Oscar for her involvement in this film. No.
That's
This
boo.
film controversially burned props from King Kong and the Garden of Valor for a major scene, using all 7 of Hollywood's colour cameras, delaying filming on The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that rings a vague bell. Shit.
Not Fraggle Rock. The Orpheum Theatre cancelled screenings of this film after the Charlottesville rallies. Name this film that portrayed the racist Scarlett O'Hara, based off Margaret Mitchell's book of the same name. Come on, you've got to get it now.
Oh,
Doesn't matter. Blue beat you to it.
yeah.
But that's right, Farmer's Boy.
Yeah.
Finally, and we did get an answer. Irish Stew gave the answer way back with Gone with the Wind. Well done, Irish Stew.
It was the 1976 that put me off the trail.
Yeah. Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I remember the bit about burning the props. I just couldn't remember what the bloody film was.
Yeah. Okay, question 4. This person reportedly responded to a fire in a stable by asking if any people, but not horses, were hurt, demonstrating the importance of people over property. Who was this? No. He theorised that political disorder could be caused by a failure to call things by their proper names, and he emphasised 5 key relationships, including ruler to subject and parent to child. Not an American president. So not someone who liked toasted horse meat. Not Abraham Lincoln, no. This man, who developed the doctrine of rectification of names, compiled the 5 classics as well as the Spring and Autumn Annals. Who is this person? A disciple of this man is sometimes referred to as the second sage. Not Colonel Saunders. No. Mencius studied under this philosopher who taught concepts such as Li and Ren.
I'm familiar with Ren and Stimpy.
One more clue and then I'd better give it to someone, hey? Name this ancient Chinese philosopher who wrote the Analects.
Ah, God.
No, it's not Monkey.
I used to love the old series of Monkey.
Yeah, I reckon that was great too.
The new rehash.
Okay.
A patch.
You did get it, Blue. That's right. It's Confucius. And well done to Carl Edwards, who got it first out in the Peanuts. Well done.
Yep.
He got it some time ago.
Yeah, Confucius.
Correct answer was Confucius. Yeah, Confucius say. Yeah. Question 5. A site near this structure, known as Korea, is where its namesake hoard was found, which contained discarded spearheads and cuirasses. What is this structure? No? Okay. The last of the Vindelander tablets that were discovered by Keith Liddell recount this structure's erection? Not somewhere in France. Not. It's in Cambodia. It's not in Cambodia. Not Sutton Hoo. Not Flanders Field. This structure was supposedly encouraged to, support troops known as the Vangiones garrisoned at this structure were supposedly encouraged to worship a minor deity known as Disciplina. No. Mile castles built with this structure were often manned by regular infantry known as limitani, while castle headquarters were at a fort of Petrianus. And that is right, Farmer's Boy. But you were beaten, according to me, by Big Blue.
Fair enough.
And with Hadrian's Wall. Well done to Clive Wells out there who got it. But I think, Irish Stew got it first, way back. Well done, Irish Stew again. You're on fire today. Wow. This structure, also known as Valum Aelium, was superseded by a 63-kilometre structure built by Antonius Pius. Named this structure, built by the title Emperor in England, meant to keep Picts out of Roman Britain. It was Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, they got that far and went, yeah, tell you what, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's just keep these buggers out. But they come over and they looked at most of East Anglia and the Fens and just said, yeah, we'll go round that and we'll worry about them later.
Yeah.
Don't blame them.
Question 6. Yeah. Was it to keep them out or keep the Romans in?
Keep them out.
6. Eudoxus of Cnidus is thought to have built an early one of these structures, and Hipparchus of Bithynia built one of these structures on the island of Rhodes. What are these structures? This is an easy one. Not lighthouses. No.
How else did they build on the Isle of Rhodes?
A Timurid example of one of these buildings was made by Ulu Beg in Samarkand. That place where people come and talk.
What, you mean the pub?
No. And it wasn't a Parthenon. No. And it wasn't a pyramid. No. Not a star fortress. No. The island of Hainan was the site of one of these buildings called Uraniborg, built by Tycho Brahe. That kind of gives it away.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of the bloody word.
Yeah. Not the Steve Miller Band. Barracks, library, no. Speakeasy, no. Yeah, Farmer's Boy, that's right. An observatory, as said by Judy Bassett and... Yeah, Judy Bassett was the first one to get it in the Peanuts. Well done. Followed very closely by Dora and Carl and Clive.
Wow.
Told you this was an easy one.
Well,
Yeah.
the Tycho Brahe gave it away.
Yeah, that's right. Contemporary facilities of this type are located at Green Hill and Greenwich. Though it also had religious functions, Stonehenge is thought to have been a primitive one of these facilities.
Oh, yes.
Ancient and medieval examples of these structures made the use of armoury spheres and astrolabes, yeah. Name these scientific facilities constructed to analyse celestial objects. They are observatories.
Good stuff.
Okay, question 7. In his book about this event, A.A. Holing accused rigger Eric Spiel of causing this event, a theory which has become known as the sabotage hypothesis. What is this event? Eric Spiel.
No.
That theory is often dismissed in favour of the more widely accepted static spark hypothesis of this event's origin. Not the assassination of Lincoln? No. Yes, we have 2 correct answers, one internally and one in the peanuts. Well done to Big Blue for guessing the Hindenburg burning, the Hindenburg disaster. And Carl Edwards got it first out in the peanuts. Yeah. Journalist Herbert Morrison popularised the phrase, "Oh, the humanity," while giving an impassioned radio broadcast describing this event firsthand. This event, which took place in Manchester Township, New Jersey, began when the Central craft attempted to dock at a mooring mast, only to burst into flames, killing 97 passengers. Named this aeronautical disaster of 1937, which brought an end to nearly all airship travel, it was, of course, the Hindenburg disaster. Okay, question 8. Pakistan's Atomic Energy Commission produced the NAB-78 mutant of this crop, which is cited as one of the most successful radiation-induced crop mutants. So they deliberately subjected this crop to radiation to mutate it to make it better. What was the crop?
Pakistan.
Not heroin poppies? No. Fungi in the Ascochyta genus causes wet weather blight in this crop. Not rice, not wheat. No.
Well, the other important one then.
Not barley, farmer's boy? No. Not corn or wheat? No. The upland type of this crop, with species name hirsutum, accounts for 90% of the world's production of this crop and is a New World variety of it. Not rye? No. Not maize, farmer's boy? No.
I'm running out of crops.
Yeah. The cellulose-based fibres that make up the useful part of this crop are contained in a hard shell called a boll. Now, that should give it away.
Oh.
Big Blue's got it anyway. It is cotton. And well done to Dora, who got it out in the peanuts.
Well, that's not a proper crop. Don't eat it.
Well, it is. Yeah. Named this crop used to make the most widely used natural fibre, which can have its fibres separated from its seeds with a gin invented by Eli Whitney. Yeah, cotton.
What? You use an alcohol for that when you could be drinking it? Good grief. What is the world coming to?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's gin. I mean, if it said vodka, that'd be a different matter.
Yeah. 9. In Hopi myth, this event begins when the Kachina removes his mask during a dance in the plaza of Arabi in front of urinating children. What event is this? They had some strange imaginations, these people, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need something else near. I know. What about urinating children?
What about
That's a good
pissing
idea.
children?
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Well, it could be that this event is so scary that the children literally piss themselves.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eclipse. No, not the eclipse. Not sunrise. 8 pints of Guinness non-stop.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah. In Hindu myth, rulers are filled with the quality of tamas, preceding this event, which beckons in the Kali age. What is this event? Rolf Harris. No. That's a bit low.
Can you tell what it is yet?
The Fimbulvetr is a series of 3 consecutive winters that precedes this event in Norse mythology. Yeah, I'm after a particular word that describes that, though, Farmer's Boy. You're right.
Oh, right.
But what's the word that's used to describe that? It kind of sounds like what Carl Edwards said earlier, but not that. Eschatology is the study of this event in various myth systems and religions. Yeah, Ragnarok is a version of it, Carl Edwards, but what's it more commonly known as?
Is it that one? There are so many words.
No, that's not the word. John of Patmos received a series of visions concerning this event. Same thing, Carl Edwards. You're right, but I'm after the particular word that describes that. Name this process, which includes the Norse Ragnarok and a series of events detailed in the biblical book of Revelation.
I don't know.
Dora, the Apocalypso.
That sounds like that sounds a bit like the film that Mel Gibson did.
Yeah, I will give it to her though, because the correct answer is the apocalypse.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the apocalypse was the word I was looking for there. Well done, Dora.
Johnny.
And your last question for this quiz. In a case addressing this technology, Hugo Black wrote that courts should not overrule an administrative decision merely because they disagree with its wisdom. What is this technology? Illicit access to this technology in Israel was provided by the anti-Mehicon device, which disabled the mandatory eraser. So what did the Israelis have illegal or illicit access to? Not steam trains, not the printing press. No. Not voting machines, not cloning, no. I'm not sure what you're saying there, John. Hippo crispy? I'm not sure what that is. You'll have to explain that one.
I don't know myself, mate. I just typed it in.
All right. Not bacon sandwiches or nuclear weapons or no. AI or Ark of the Covenant? No.
Because the Israelis got them off the Americans.
Guillermo Gonzalez Camarana's field sequential disk system for this technology was invented in Mexico in 1940 and never became a consumer standard, though the system's simplicity led to NASA using Gonzalez's method to equip Voyager with this technology. Not facial recognition, Not voting, not DNA evidence, no. Not the Kraken.
What the hell did they have on Voyager?
This technology was introduced in the UK in 1928 when John Logie Baird used it on a basket of strawberries. Be more specific, Farmer's Boy. That would be correct, yes.
Oh.
Same thing, Vroomfondle. Be more specific. It's
Wow,
more than just that.
It was the John Logie Baird that gave it away.
Yeah. In Australia, this technology was first used in 1967 at the Pakenham races. The same year, BBC Two brought it to Wimbledon for the first time. No, they had TV well before that.
Is that when you first got TV, Australia, 1967?
No, they had TV well before that, but we didn't have this kind of TV. Come on, Peanuts. France and the Soviet Union used the SEACOM system for this technology, while the rest of the world was split into the PAL and NTSC regions. And finally, Dora gets it with colour TV. Yes, it was not Bert Newton. Name is technology which allows the NBC Peacock to appear in 6 different hues. It is colour television. Yay. They were quite expensive when they first came out.
I still remember that we as a family getting our first colour TV.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Just about mid-70s.
Wait, time G. My God, couldn't lift it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colour TV, 3 channels, no remote control, nothing like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had to continually get up and adjust the vertical hold
God.
in the back of the set.
Give it a thumb, it'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. There is your quiz for today.
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed that. Peanuts did fairly well today. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'd have got that Led Zeppelin one sooner had I watched the closing ceremony of our Olympics, but
I can't remember.
had it been the opening, I would have said somebody like Muse, because I'm sure they played in the opening ceremony. Because I did actually watch it. Oh, I can't remember the first thing I saw on colour TV. I can remember the first video that I hired for one of the first front-loading VHS video machines, and it was, of course, Monty Python's Holy Grail. That would have been circa 1982, maybe 81, 82, not sure.
There's all the rage when you've got the old remote control. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have to get off the couch. Crikey.
Well, you see, for many years, me and my brother were Dad's remote control.
Yeah.
Do us a favour, just go over and change channels. Yeah, just because Dad couldn't be bothered to get up. Just be a good lad and change channels for me. Oh, all right then, Dad. Yeah.
Oh, I only had 4 channels, so.
To start with, we only had 3. We had BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. That was it.
Whenever we used to go to visit our cousins, my uncle, he used to go in the lounge room, sit in his comfy chair, put his legs up, put the cricket on, and then proceed to go to sleep and not watch any of it.
Yep, sounds about right.
But if you changed the channel, he would immediately wake up and say, "Hey, I was watching that."
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have tea or dinner, if you want to call it that. Sit down. Mum would always want to watch Crossroads. No, we'd watch the news. That's right. The news would be from 6 to 6:30. Then Crossroads would come on for half an hour. My dad could sleep for exactly half an hour. Crossroads would start. His head would nod. Half an hour later, oh, did I miss it? Without fail. Bless him.
And then, and without fail, all the TV shows that I wasn't allowed to watch were at 8:30, and that's what time I had to go to bed.
We used to be allowed to stay up late. I think it was a Saturday night to watch The Professionals.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a treat to be able to watch Bodie and Doyle in The Professionals. Yeah. God, I feel old.
TV show we used to watch Sunday nights was ABC with the music channel. Oh God, mind blank area. With Molly Meldrum.
oh, the other countries wouldn't know who that was.
No.
Yeah.
I was tortured with TV when I was a kid because we were allowed to watch shows like Little House on the Prairie, the Waltons.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, Carl, I do remember Minder. That's being repeated now on one of the other channels. I caught a bit of it the other day. I was just flicking through the channels. Oh, Minder. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, let's just keep going. Minder, the Sweeney, the Professionals, the Avengers. How many versions of the Avengers were there? Oh.
We used to rush home from school and watch Doctor Who and the Goodies, and then
the Goodies, yeah.
Oh,
goody,
Oh,
yum,
the
yum.
Goodies, mate.
Yeah.
Ecky thump.
I love watching them.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Now I've got 1,000 channels. I can't pick one to watch.
Yeah, I sat down last
shit.
night. I went through all the channels I've got access to. I couldn't find anything I fancied. I went on Netflix and thought, nah. Amazon Prime, nah. What have I got recorded? Nah, not in the mood for any of that. I ended up
Disney
watching.
Channel. Yeah.
I ended up watching bloody Taken again.
Yeah.
How many times have I watched that bloody film?
I've been watching reruns of Columbo. I got them all on disc.
Yeah, I should have looked through my Blu-ray collection, but I was just feeling too lazy. I just couldn't be bothered. You know.
Yeah, I want to play all mine again when I get my new TV and have my home theatre set up.
Yeah,
it'd be worth watching them then.
yeah, it is a struggle because you look, it's that again. Oh, I've seen that. Blah blah blah. And then a lot of the new stuff on Netflix is just like, nope, won't watch out if you held a gun to my head. Load of rubbish.
Oh, my mum used to like watching Coronation Street. Remember that? Remember that when I was a kid? I didn't watch it though.
Oh yeah, Sapphire and Steel. What the bloody hell was all that about? That was weird. Well, they did have Joanna Lumley in it. That's the only thing going for it. It had Joanna Lumley in it. Yeah, that was always nice to watch.
Well, at least you didn't get number 96 over there.
Oh, that was a good show.
No,
that was a good show, mate. Good show, mate. Good show.
I don't think my parents were into soap operas per se. I don't think I ever got.
Well,
Coronation
the first episode, I
Street.
wouldn't class it as a soap opera.
Emmerdale Farm, as it used to be known back then, before it just became Emmerdale. I don't think a farming family was ever going to sit down and watch a soap opera based around the farming community in Yorkshire, you know.
Yeah, well, number 96 used to be called Tits and Dicks. Sorry for that.
Yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff on, but there's some utter rubbish on as well.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
just like now,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I now have entire channels that I avoid because they just play nothing but crap. I mean, ITV, I don't watch that over here. That's our third channel. I don't watch it. It's just a load of garbage. Yeah, reality shows and people stranded in the wilderness naked. You know what? What's all that about? Yes, they're stranded naked in the wilderness with a camera crew.
Yeah.
The camera crew's not naked.
No, the camera crew's not naked, and apparently they also, in quite a lot of these areas, they have somebody else
You
out
don't
of
know
shot
that,
that you never see who's got a gun.
You don't know that.
Do.
You don't know the camera crew is not naked.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay.
guessing.
Well, they don't need to be naked, so they're not going to be, are they? They're not stupid. Oh dear! It's some of these programs. You just think you ran out of ideas years ago, and you're just. Well, I know this. I know that's how it works because there's a series they used to have over here called Scrap Heap Challenge.
Oh,
And
yes,
it was
we
presented
know
by
that,
the chap
yes.
who played. Yeah, presented by the chap who played Crichton,
Yeah.
Robert Llewellyn. And apparently, when they sat down for their production meetings, trying to come up with ideas for new challenges, they'd all come up with ideas, and he'd punt some in, and they'd go, "No, don't be daft. That's too silly." It got to the point where they just exhausted everything, and they'd go back and say, "Hang on a minute, what did he suggest again?" Okay, we'll try that now because we've run out of ideas.
Did
So
that
after a
series
few
have a name
series-
change? Because it used to be called Junkyard Wars at some stage over here.
Yeah,
But I think it had a different host.
yeah, certainly the one over here in the UK. Robert Llewellyn was the main presenter, and there was a woman whose name I've forgotten. She was like the
Yeah.
co-presenter. Well,
Yep.
she actually came up with the idea. She's the one who invented the show.
Okay.
But she always seemed to play like a bit part, a secondary role to Robert Llewellyn. But it was her idea. She was.
She
the
would
one
go
who-
around and interview the participants,
Yes.
wouldn't she?
Yes,
And he
but
would sit in his chair and,
10 hours remaining and all that
comment
nonsense. Yeah,
and bang the gong.
that's it, and gun for the camera. But yeah, it was. I can't because somebody bought me a book and it's all about sort of the background to the program, and she was the one who came up with the idea. It was, yeah, it was her baby all along. Can't think of her bloody name. But yeah, they got to the point where they just tried so many things. They'd go back and revisit Robert Llewellyn's bizarre ideas and go, okay, we'll give them a go. Like what the trebuchet that launched minis,
Yeah.
and that one that the old boys from the West Country built it. And the first time they released it, the whole thing just imploded and collapsed on itself, and they just pissed themselves laughing because it's all you could do. Thank you, Irish Stew. Lisa Rogers. That's the one. She was the one who came up with it all in the first place. And then, of course, I guess it got exported all over the world.
I used to watch it as in for the time constraints of what they had to do and how technical the builds were in the time frame that they had to build them in.
Yeah, and I think what you could probably tell from watching the programs, although it wasn't that explicit, was if teams were struggling, there was an awful lot of help given in the background that was never filmed. They were given these deadlines, but if one team out of the two was really struggling, then they were helped, because what they didn't want is one team to do it and the other team, just to fail halfway or something. So they always made sure that come the second day when you get to test the devices, that there were actually two teams with two devices that would work. So there was quite a bit of that apparently going on in the background. But I think in the end, most of the teams had a pretty good idea what they were doing. Oh dear.
No. You see, level is horizontal. Horizontal.
You got to miss out the T in horizontal.
Horizontal.
I think from the messages I've got from Rumpus that we are meeting up there again tomorrow, and apparently Bev is going to be there as well. So that could be interesting.
Interesting.
Yes. I don't know how many other of his acolytes are going to be there with him.
Acolytes.
Yeah.
You need to be able to measure something.
Yes, Dora, I might need something stronger than a hot brew to get through this.
Perpendicular. Horizontal.
Oh dear.
I shouldn't take the piss, but you can't help it, can you?
I know.
Just rather ask for it. Cup of tea or crystal meth? Well, yeah. Crystal meth sounds tempting, I must admit.
I'm building up An entire audio library of Bevisms. Given another day or two, I think I'll be able to have an entire conversation on Bill's voice.
How many hours did he spend in your server those couple of days? I mean, him and all of his gang were sort of camped out, weren't they?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely they were. I banned every one of them.
Yep, don't blame you
for pulling that shit.
And then Bev had got a premiere yesterday of him talking to the Rumpus. And if that wasn't bad enough, because, it's basically a premiere of a recording, Bev is also corresponding in the text chat at the same time, as were most of the other Herberts. So, not only have you got his bullshit that you can hear, you can also read the bullshit that he's typing at the same time. And it's just like, no. And they're all basically calling Rumpus a liar. He's never going to do this test. He's never been there. Right, he's never been there. I've met him there 3 times, And they're all trying to figure out what his test is. And he's explained it to them so many times, and none of them can understand it. And water
Yeah, I
doesn't
talked to Rumpus last night.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's just painful. So tomorrow could be, interesting.
Space Matt's lurking out in the peanut gallery.
Oh, there he is.
How are you feeling this week, Space Matt? Space Matt's out in the peanut gallery.
M2M.
Oh.
Space Matt.
Yeah, Spatial.
Yeah.
Spatial Case Man.
Yeah. Don't mind me, I'll just grab these videos to finish.
Just get it all sorted out.
Yeah, I've got them here. There's not a lot. I've got 2 Wallies, an Everett, and Simon.
Oh, I can find you more than 2 Wallies. That's easy.
You can find 2. You can find another Wally. They're the last 2 that I've got.
There's loads of them. There's loads of them. They've got YouTube channels and everything. Keep insisting the Earth is flat. Yeah, it's been a bit quiet this week, hasn't it?
It's bigger than the devil.
Oh, Wally.
Hey,
Wally.
Hi, all. What's down?
Hey, Wally.
What's down?
Yeah,
Is that a trick question, Wally?
Well, no, it's the opposite of up.
Oh, Carl said he's going to run away.
Why? Because where's Wally's here?
Yeah, I've got 2 little
Play a Wally
Wallies.
while we look for some more Wallies.
Yeah, I've got 2 little Wallies.
We'll play a little Wally and then.
Yeah, I've got a real little
play
Wally
another little
and
Wally.
then a little Wally that's that one. Someone say Wally? I don't know. Did somebody say Wally?
Wally. Wally.
Share.
Oh dear, that's not good, Matt.
Oh, what's it? I feel okay, but I had a. Okay.
Yeah, blimey.
That's no good.
Well,
this is a good one.
That's what she said.
Oh yeah.
Terry.
Aha.
You talking about Wally?
I'm confused.
Me too. What am I missing? I'm missing something here. What's the P word?
Persistent. I mean, play, please.
Why are you asking me something? So you don't have any Earth curve in your map? Don't ask me something.
I've not met a single cartographer.
Don't tell me who you've met. Just confirm you haven't got drop in your map.
I don't.
Well, so it's flat then. No Earth curve, no 8-inch mile squared then. Why the hell are you believing you're on a sphere when there's no sphericity in your map? So, no Earth curve drop in your map. Now show me one that does have it.
I can't show you.
So no map shows Earth curve? They're all flat then?
What a numpty.
Hello? Do you need the White Knight to help you?
What the?
Dear, dear.
Oh man.
Nathan's such a gentleman.
Isn't he just?
He's very polite.
He's so calm
Prince of a
collected all
fella.
the time. Yeah, just
Just a prince of a fella.
G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Well, first of all, a big thanks to Pippa Australis and Kev Conrad for the heads up for this lovely bit of footage from Inspiration 4. Well, it shows the Gulf of Carpentaria in Australia at the end. And of course, I had to go play Match the Clouds with Himarari 8, as one does. And on the 17th at around 4 PM, she's looking pretty good, Vern. Well, the specular highlight over near Mornington Island told me that it had to be an afternoon pass over Australia. I reckon the little clouds over near the Northern Territory are just about right too. The angle of viewing does make a little bit of difference. You can even see that the little stripy clouds over South Australia match up right nicely. Well, that was not as cool, but not as cool as the 4 people watching the hatch open on the cupola for the very first time. Now this one's in 4K, so this is really pretty. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute and let these guys talk.
Alright, we got some work to do.
That 2000 and Space Odyssey music might be a problem.
wouldn't have thought. Should be all right.
Holy
Damn space. Something out, floats around.
Oh my gosh.
No southern hemisphere globe head.
Now, was that enough excitement for you, Adam? Then I saw this. Someone had spotted a few pixels in the video. Now, what could they be? Well, certainly not parachutes, that's for sure. I wonder, where was the ISS? Well, at 3:20 it passed right over Queensland. But no, it can't be. It was a little bit too far to the east. But when it came back on the next pass, there's that cloud over near Mornington Island again. Fancy that. Well, I hope you enjoy this one, guys. It's just so pretty watching these people in space.
Cool.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, it proved that the toilet needs redesigning, apparently.
Yeah, but why couldn't I see the whole Earth?
Because they're quite close to it. And it's big and round. Big and round. Ground. Let's call it the ground.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll be friends with me. But it's pretty cool if that black speck actually turned out to be the ISS, because they were considerably higher than the ISS orbit.
What spherical thing, Death? I didn't see a spherical thing.
What? You mean the planet?
I've seen a curve of a planet, of something that could be spherical. They wrote their names in the soot. What?
Oh, yeah.
Toilet. You're going to do one about the toilet now on your uploads now, Matt?
He's still doing all the moon landing stuff, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Well, when you get to the ISS stuff, tell us how the toilet works.
Yeah, because apparently they said when they returned that one of the things that SpaceX needed to look at was revising the toilet facilities. Apparently they had troubles with it. Quite what troubles they had, I don't know, but I don't think it worked quite as intended, shall we say, which could be a bit embarrassing because there's 4 of you in that little capsule for 3 days.
Yeah.
And the toilet was behind a curtain, you know. I guess you kind of want to make sure that before you go up and whilst you're up there, your diet isn't that rich.
How long were they up there?
Well, they were up there 3 days.
Just tie a knot in it.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. What they needed was the AB biscuits out of British Army 24-hour ration packs.
Yeah,
then you wouldn't have been able to use the toilet.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'd keep you neutral.
Yeah, I mean, AB biscuits. We all found out what the AB stood for.
Yeah.
And they did as well.
They said, I thought if I said circular around, someone would have corrected me. Is that what the A stood for, Dora said?
Yes, that's it. They look like Garibaldi biscuits, but yes, they were called AB biscuits, and yes, we pretty much assumed that they stood for arse blockers because that's the effect that they had. Yeah. You could survive off them for a few days, and then at some point, I'm afraid that nature just caught up with you anyway, as it tends to do.
There's a few ISS tours on YouTube that explain how the toilet on the ISS works, so no, I won't be doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you could do your own graphics if you wanted, Matt.
Hey everybody, what's good? I'm Eddie out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the Earth is flat. This is my fast introduction video. I'm here to let you know who I am, so you understand that I'm not some raving lunatic or something nuts.
But of course you are.
So I'd like to discuss what are credible sources, what you think are credible sources. I do know that I used to, look forward to other people giving me information. That's pretty much what we've all been treated and, trained. You go to school to be told what to know. As opposed to, critical thinking and thinking things out. People forgot,
True.
Really?
From a certain point of view.
I'm gonna attack NASA like everybody else. I love it. It's so easy. There's certain things that we can go over it, but it's all been beaten like a dead horse.
I take great comfort in the general hostility and unfairness of the universe.
I don't know why people don't realize that water always finds its level. You want to talk gravitons and per molecule. Come on, man, it's garbage. I'm not going to discuss the motionless Earth, because you can't feel it move. Nobody can feel it move. And if you claim that you can feel it move, you have no ability to prove so. So that's kind of 1-0.
Shit.
Water always finds this level. That's kind of 2-0.
Shit.
You've never seen curvature. That's kind of 3-0. No, I mean, there's a few arguments for flat Earth. So, my job, again, is not to convince you that the Earth is flat.
This is good, but what is best in life?
Get you to understand why I believe this to be so, and that's a couple of basic, it's a little basic start. What I do have is I have my little oblate spheroid Earth.
Wow. Wow.
Bam. And little things on it, little numbers. I like numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I also have this map here.
Wow.
And I'm going to use that. I'm going to chop it up, and we're going to create third Earth, verifiable Earth. You guys want to be a globe believer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people have woken up to the understanding that they get water not lying flat. But I'm going to go over why I believe the Earth to be flat.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Okay, this is perspective convergence. Someone asked that he understands that when the vehicle or your object is up close in your face, right, you can see the whole thing, and then he understands that when the vehicle drives away, it disappears from the bottom up. The fact of the matter is that if it goes to a point when you can't see it, if you put on binoculars, whoop, it comes right back.
It's not about who's right, but what's right.
I'm going to say that better myself.
So who's that guy?
Another wanker.
Flat Earth Eddie.
Yeah.
The only name he's got. 2018.
Oh, it's, yeah, Flat Earth vintage derp, I suppose. So it's 3 years old, so that's vintage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come thick and fast, mate.
The best things in life are hot water, good dentistry, and soft lavatory paper. Sorry, hot water, good dentistry, and soft lavatory paper. Said, of course, by Cohen the Barbarian.
Yes, Matt, we
Not
did see that.
What, the camera below the edge of the table? Oh, yes, it's Flat Earth 101. Look, it disappears across a flat table. Yes, because your camera's basically buried in the ground. Yeah, well done.
And out of focus.
Yes. Focus? No.
Oh, they don't know the F word.
No.
Sorry, mate.
It's got to be out of focus. Just ask Travis.
Well, that's filter and focus.
Yes.
You
Flat
know,
Earth gets everything.
As soon as the camera went up, you see the whole lot.
Yeah, funny that, eh?
Yeah. The table arises with the horizon, I suppose.
I suppose so, yes.
I
But
thought
he's got his camera below.
Somebody's dog's barking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be mine.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That's all right, Blue. I thought he might have been contributing to the conversation.
No, he's just giving the neighbor what for, I believe.
What sort of dog you got, Blue?
A black one. A great
Yeah,
big
I was going to say that. Something like that. If it meowed, it wouldn't have been a dog.
Yeah, he's mixed Staffordshire Terrier and Black Lab.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, that's what the dog said, Rimfondle. Had to translate it for us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Fondle.
He's a bit on the crazy side.
Aren't the crazy ones a bit more loyal?
Yeah.
Or is that the opposite, I'm thinking?
I think I have a recording of it. Let's see. Yep.
Okay, Fondle, what was that? Yes, the dog does, I'd say, Southern Hemisphere. Makes more sense.
Well, I can translate that for you.
Right.
Woof, 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 woof. Actually, is it ain't flat, you dipshit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get a soundbite of that and make a tune out of it. Not a tune of genre, but a tune.
Press play.
Yeah, go on then.
Oh.
Might need to unmute it.
That would be a good idea. Thanks for that, Farmer.
Just a thought. Yeah, just a
okay.
Where the Prince of the Flat Earthers, Mr. Eric DeBay, has decided to have a pop at the Apollo lunar modules. It becomes very apparent very quickly, though, that Eric DeBay has no clue what he's talking about, as per usual.
That's true.
Take a second to honestly observe the following picture and tell me what this looks like to you.
Ah, that looks like the lunar lander used by the Apollo program.
If you said a bunch of cardboard, construction paper, curtain rods, gold tape, and foil, you would be correct.
Okay, yes, granted, it does look a little bit like that, but it is still the lunar lander used by the Apollo program.
If instead you said the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's highest technological achievement, incapable of being reproduced today, the Apollo 11 lunar lander, then you would also be correct.
Ah, so I was correct. But what does he mean when he says incapable of being reproduced today?
Most unbiased viewers would assume your average high school art class could construct this contraption without much struggle.
I highly doubt that. The lunar module was a 7-metre tall, 2-stage craft with a mass of 14,000 kilograms with crew and propellant on board. With 2 engines and 6 batteries on board, the lunar module was a highly sophisticated craft of its time.
But official NASA spokesman and astronaut Don Pettit assures us that actually, this 1969 technology is so advanced that even with their multi-billion-dollar yearly budget, they cannot for the life of them recreate it now.
But did Don Pettit specifically mention the lunar module when he said this? Let's take a look.
I go back to the moon in a nanosecond, Don informs us. But NASA destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Now, I'm pretty sure I know what Don is talking about here in that quote, but let's hear Eric's take on it.
Firstly, why on earth would NASA destroy the original Apollo lunar landers? The historic first crafts that landed men on the moon? The supposed most incredible achievements of mankind? And they irreparably destroyed them so that they could not be replicated even after 50 years?
I think it's a very foolish thing to try and debunk something when you don't fully understand it, Eric. The bottom half, or the descent stage of the lunar module stays on the moon as the ascent stage lifts off to return the crew to the command module in orbit around the moon. Once docked, the top half of the lunar module is then ejected by the astronauts. The lunar modules of Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16 and 17 crashed onto the moon shortly after their release. The lunar module of Apollo 13 burnt up in the Earth's atmosphere, as it was obviously used as a lifeboat to get home after that horrible accident. So you see, Eric, it's not really possible to get a lunar module back to Earth intact.
Could it be because they didn't want future generations able to visit museums and see these laughable 1960s attempts at high-tech looking space vehicles?
Well, no, because there are exact replicas in museums right now.
And what other 1960s technology is so advanced and expensive that it cannot be recreated easily and far better now than way back then?
Ah, I'm so glad you asked, Eric. You see, Don Pettit wasn't talking about the lunar module in his quote there. And he wasn't talking about the command module or the service module either. He was, of course, talking about the Saturn V rocket. Now, NASA haven't had launch capability from their own rocket for years. They simply don't have the budget to build a rocket that big and that powerful again. The current percentage of the national budget that NASA gets is around 0.48%. Now, compare that to the almost 4.5% of the national budget that they received in the late 1960s, and you can see why it's now a painful process to build up that launch capability again.
Let's take a closer look at this 1960s spaceship and see what else we can notice. For example, look at the paneling here on the side of the craft. If someone sheetrocked your house looking like this, you would be entitled to a full refund.
But your house isn't in a vacuum with zero weathering effects, is it?
Yet, with supposedly the best engineers and scientists in the world on the job, this is the kind of craftsmanship NASA provides?
Yes, the lunar lander needed to be as light as possible. They could not afford to weigh it down unnecessarily.
Look at the flimsy, haphazard, and careless construction materials and methods used. Look at the buckling, warping, and indentations showing how thin the paneling is. What is this thing? A Twinkie?
Your light-hearted critique of the lunar module doesn't make it any less believable that it actually went there.
No, I'm sure it's some super important and necessary high-tech device. Here there are press stubs, and here also has press stubs. But here, and here, they must have run out, so they used gold foil instead.
So, why does any of this mean that it didn't go to the moon?
And then over here, they must have run out of gold foil because they didn't bother with either. Look over here at the evenly spaced lines of gold foil going down the legs, until you get to this point where there is 3 lines right close together. It must be important because it's the connection point to the other crossbars, right? Let's look at another leg. Oh, no. On this one, they are all evenly spaced the whole way down. No 3 lines near the crossbar.
No, but there is 2. But again, this is all irrelevant. You're just being super picky so that your followers will go, yep, only 2 stripes of gold foil, not 3. That means it definitely didn't go to the moon.
Apollo 11 mission controller Harold Loden was quoted saying, "The skin on the crew cabin was very thin, and that was all done because of weight saving. If you really took your finger and poked hard at it, you could poke right through the outer skin of the spacecraft. It was about the thickness of 2 layers of aluminum foil." Project manager Thomas Kelly concurred, noting that the skin, the aluminum alloy skin of the crew compartment, was about 12 1/1000ths of an inch thick, equivalent to about 3 layers of Reynolds wrap that you would use in the kitchen.
But surely if you were faking the moon landing, you wouldn't be saying all of this. They did it to reduce weight. That is a logical argument. It follows that if the craft was too heavy, it would have troubles taking off and landing on the moon's surface.
Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell said, "Whenever I saw a model of the lunar module, it had these rigid sides and looked really strong. Turns out that external portions of the lunar module are actually made up of mylar and cellophane, and it's put together with scotch tape and staples. We had to have pads on the floor
That's not
because
the
if you dropped
pressure
a screwdriver,
vessel, you
it would go
idiot.
through.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say the same thing. That wasn't to do with the pressure part of it.
A quick Google search will turn up
Pisses me.
lots and lots of photos of these things being built. They're built the same way as a commercial airliner.
Pisses me off when they do this crap. The actual pressure skin of the thing was never, it was at no point was less than 1/8 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
About the same as you find on an airliner, which is designed to hold 10 psi. This thing only had to hold 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do seem to ignore that. Yeah, the outside of the craft, it got something like 20 plus layers of insulation and all sorts of things on it. Underneath that was a rigid metal structure, and you can quickly Google it and find all the photos you'd like of these things being built. Idiots like this don't want you to see that. They want to carry on with this pretense that it was just cobbled together.
Foil heat. Yeah, the foil heat shielding was very thin. You could put your finger through it. Yes, absolutely. That was just an external heat shield. It didn't need to have any sort of mechanical rigidity to it.
Nope.
All it was there for was to keep the thing from getting too goddamn hot. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
The floor.
Again,
Okay,
why divulge all of this?
That's all right, Blue.
Apollo astronaut Gus Grissom even famously hung a lemon on the lunar lander just weeks before the mission started. The dictionary describes lemon being a word used to describe things, especially automobiles, regarded as unsatisfactory, disappointing, or feeble.
An astronaut's opinion on the lunar module also isn't proof that they didn't go.
The lunar lander was never even once tested on Earth, landing here from any altitude before supposedly going and successfully landing on the moon.
Whilst the lunar modules were too expensive to test with, there was a lunar landing research vehicle made so that the astronauts could get used to how they would fly. The moon's gravity is 1/6 that of our own, so why would it prove useful to test the lunar module here on Earth anyway?
There, this pathetic cardboard and tinfoil construction allegedly fell from lunar orbit at 4,000 miles per hour, then used retro thrusters to slow it down and safely landed without a hitch on the lunar surface.
Actually, there was a hitch with Apollo 11. They overshot their landing site and almost ran out of fuel. And on one of the lunar landings, the lunar module came to rest at an angle after it didn't land properly.
When the astronauts did practice in other training vehicles, 3 out of 5 of them crashed, and you can see here how difficult they were to control, even in broad daylight, on Earth, in optimal conditions.
But it's never going to be optimal conditions because it's not the moon's atmosphere.
The idea that the actual lunar lander was never once tested on Earth, but then made a perfect landing on the moon, is one small step for lying Freemasons, and one giant leap for brainwashed mankind.
As I said, they didn't all land perfectly.
This is a 7,500-pound thruster. Look how powerful this is, how big, how much dust it kicks up, and the light it creates. The lunar lander's thruster was even bigger, at 10,000 pounds, and somehow didn't kick up any dust, left no blast crater under the craft, and not a grain of sand on the landing pads, as if it was gently placed down by a crane in a studio.
Not this one again. Right. The maximum thrust of the descent propulsion system on the lunar module was 10,125 pounds. We're going to use pounds for simplicity here. However, it was never used more than 60% of its maximum. So let's say during the descent, the thrust was about 6,000 pounds. The diameter of the exhaust nozzle was 59 inches, which means an area of 2,732 inches squared. Pressure is force divided by area, so the total pressure exerted here is around 2.2 psi. I weigh about 190 pounds and one of my feet has an area of around 45 square inches. So that means every time I take a step, one of my feet exerts a pressure of around 4.5 psi. So you have an engine that exerts less pressure than a human foot firing against solid rock. So it's no surprise that there wasn't a crater.
Here we see the lunar lander redocking with the command module. This is clearly fake and made with props, models, and footage similar to the Hollywood creations of the day, such as Stanley Kubrick's 2001
sped
Space
up
Odyssey,
maybe a little
created in 1968. the year
bit,
before the
maybe?
first supposed moon landing. Look at the jerky, unrealistic motions and lack of thrusters being used.
You can't sit there, Eric, and tell me you didn't know that this footage was sped up, surely.
The craft is just being turned like a Rubik's Cube somehow. All of this supposedly happening as they both orbit the moon at 4,000 miles per hour. Since many people can't believe this is genuine footage, let me assure you, this is actual, official NASA footage of the Apollo 11 redocking.
But again, if they were faking it, why would they release this footage if it was so damning, as you say?
And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to moon landing hoax evidence. If you still believe man has actually walked on the moon, and rovers are rolling around on Mars, please do me, yourself, and the rest of humanity a favor, and watch my following presentation, link in the description box, the NASA Moon and Mars landing hoaxes.
No.
And if you truly believe that the Earth is flat and that space is fake, then do yourself a favour and go and watch my first ever video and then watch them all in chronological order. What an absolute joke of a video that was from Mr. Eric DeBay there, absolutely dripping with personal incredulity. Let's leave Eric there drenched in his own state of disbelief and finish today's video. And Eric, I ask again, MC Toon is ready and willing and able to debate you, but we still haven't heard back from you, I'm afraid. Come on. Right, that's all for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. It'd be thoroughly appreciated. And hit that like button as well. Thank you. Just enough time to once again thank Blinkist for sponsoring today. Remember, the first 100 people that visit blinkist.com/SimonDan get 1 week free trial and then 25% off a full membership. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday for more.
Is that a fairly recent video from Dubai?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think it might have come out in the last week or two, because I think Mr. 42 was asking last week when he shows the back of the ascent stage and there's that weird lump that's on the back. He said, does anybody know what that is? And I can't find any information on it at all, because that's the equipment bay. There is a connection on the right-hand side that comes out through all the insulation, but I can't find anything on the left-hand side. But that is a complete unheated equipment bay, and there's stuff in there that was designed to be. They wanted it kept cool, which is why it's outside of the pressure vessel. So I think it's a relatively recent video from El Dirtbag.
Yeah.
But it's just repeating the same tired old shite. You know, why hasn't it rocket excavated a crater? What, in the rock, as it comes down really quite gently in the vacuum of space? And all the dirt got sort of blown out gently sideways. What do you expect it to do? It doesn't behave the same way it does on Earth.
Yeah, well, there's no atmosphere for the.
Correct. There's no atmosphere, and there's 1/6 of the gravity. Plus, in theory, what should happen was that as soon as the 6-foot probes that were on 3 of the 4 feet of the descent stage, as soon as they hit the surface of the moon, that's when you're supposed to shut the rocket engine off. So if you do that at the right time, if you shut that rocket off straight away, you've just turned it off and you're still 6 feet off the ground. So why would you get dust and dirt blown all over the feet of the lander when they're 6 foot up?
I would hasten to point out that 1 square foot is 144 square inches.
Yeah.
At an atmospheric pressure of 14.7 psi, you've got a little over 2,000 pounds per square foot of pressure on the surface of the Earth. Why is any of this surprising?
I don't know.
Oh, now come on, behave, Mark.
But the moon is in Earth's atmosphere. Well, if yes, technically, if you're saying sort of the odd molecule every cubic meter, then yes, it is. But not that anybody would actually notice it.
So insignificant. Yeah.
Well, flat earthers don't do nuance.
No, they don't. It's just the word atmospheres in the sentence.
Yeah. See, we told you it was in our atmosphere. Oh, dumb buggers. It's painful sometimes, it really is.
Well, okay, we'll wind it up there.
Cool for cats.
You can have the mic for a sec while I type out and peanut.
Quick, think of something to say.
Just don't bring up.
hang on.
Just don't bring up tanks.
Breaking news: Earth not flat. That is all.
Okay.
Breaking news.
It's still not flat.
Breaking news: clouds aren't water vapor.
Oh, I nearly sprayed me cold tea all over the keyboard.
Well, you have to give the explanation of why.
Dear. Because clouds are made of water droplets and ice particles, not water vapor.
Yeah.
Level is horizontal.
It is. You're quite correct. Level is horizontal. Aye.
Have you ever noticed how when it rains and then your car looks dirty? Because every single one of those raindrops formed around a little speck of dirt.
Dust.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So when it's like, oh, it rains, it washes my car. No, it doesn't. It makes it worse.
Do you ever notice there's clouds around when it rains?
Do you know, it's funny that. Yeah, I reckon the two things might be linked.
Okay.
But we'll have to look into that.
Speaking of which, yes, here I am in the UK, and guess what? It's cloudy. It's 100% cloud. It's not raining, though, thankfully.
So do we get an abridged version of what happened with your Cavendish the other night that I fell asleep on, Blue?
Good one, Terry.
Absolutely nothing happened. It was quite uneventful.
You didn't miss anything, mate.
No, just a quick test to make sure the new torsion wire was working. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, it worked because I was watching that dot move.
Yep. The dot moved on schedule. Yeah, that'll be the problem. That's probably going to be the last one I ever do.
Plans for another project, Blue?
That's saying I've got to rewatch it.
You will.
Yeah, if I'm up late one night, Surf, I might just watch the rest of it I missed.
I think you'd be glad just to get your workshop back, won't you?
Hmm. I know you will.
Yeah.
Just like with my son out in the garage, I'm trying to get my garage back.
Yeah, best of luck with that.
Okay. Who did we have out there today? Mark, Surf, Stewie, Space Matt, Dora, Southern Hemisphere Glowbeard, Heat Shield. Haven't seen Heat Shield for a while. I'll just scroll up. Death, Fondle. I know Gary was there earlier. Wally. Surf. Dora. I think Clive was there too. Stewie. John Rapp. When's your next video coming out, Space Matt? Carl. Demon Orb. Oh, Fred Bailey, Stevie B. Oh, I can't go any further. Now scroll back again. Yeah, Carl was here. I don't. Oh, thanks, James Prescott Jewel.
Yeah.
Thanks, Big Blue. Thanks, not a farmer, farmer's boy.
You're welcome, mate. Anytime.
Thanks, John.
Except Wednesdays.
Next video Monday. Oh, okay. That's Matt's plug. Go subscribe to Southern Hemisphere Globehead. That's his channel. Oh. I'll grab that. Put it over in Discord for me, Matt, and people over there can see it. Just move Farmer's Boy's tanks out of the road. He took a photo of inside some tanks for me from the museum, which I asked nicely, and he fulfilled my wishes of seeing some photos of inside a tank.
There you go.
If I can get, I'll just show one. There we go. Show that one to the peanuts. All right then. Oh, good night, peanuts. Good night, panel. We see you.
Good night, peanuts.
Hopefully Wednesday.
Peanuts.
Peanuts? Who said peanuts? Oh, peanuts. Sorry.
Peanuts. Ah, yes, that's the 1945 British Comet tank. That's the ever so luxurious driver's position.
Yeah, I thought I'd show that one.
Yeah.
We'll be
Still
here
runs.
all night.
Somebody was sat there driving it around.
We'd be here all night if we talked about tanks.
I know. Let's not.
Yeah, we're gone. We're out of here. Press the off button.